Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
The drug maker AstraZeneca becomes the third major vaccine developer to announce promising results. The news comes as coronavirus patients fill U.S. hospitals in record numbers, straining healthcare systems all across the country.
All eyes on Michigan as the Board of State Canvassers meets to certify our election results. This comes as more Republicans run out of patience with efforts to overturn the election.
Quite frankly, the conduct of the president's legal team has been a national embarrassment.
But efforts to challenge the vote continue as a Republican member of the Board of State Canvassers appears poised to vote against certifying the vote.
His job isn't to do that. His job is a math job. Certify what the other counties did.
What a move like that could mean for Michigan.
And that consequential meeting tops our news this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. Right now, the We Make Michigan Coalition is staging a car caravan in downtown Lansing, and they're also going to be holding a virtual press conference, all in response to concerns about what could happen during this afternoon's Board of Canvassers meeting. Local 4's Rod Maloney joins us now live from Lansing to break down what it all looks like out there. Rod?
Hi, Evrod. At noontime right now, they're still a little behind schedule. The car caravan is gathering. We're told they're about 10 or 15 minutes out, but we have seen them on the highway. I had a number of them pass me on the way here this morning, so there are a sizable number of vehicles that will be part of this caravan. Also, when you get off the highway here at the Capitol, there is a billboard saying that the votes have been cast, that people have made their opinions known, and now it's time to certify. And there's a lot of effort here in Lansing to try and make sure that the State Board of Canvassers knows what it is that they're supposed to do, at least from their perspective. Now, we'll show you some video here. There is a small gathering of groups here, a number of differing groups that are looking to have the Board of Canvassers go ahead and green light the canvass. And in fact, Lonnie Scott, who is one of the leaders of this particular protest, talked to us just a few minutes ago about what it is that he thinks should happen, needs to happen, and ought to happen.
Well, we're hoping to have happen the only thing that legally should happen, which is certification of all of the votes that took place in the November 3rd election. And so there's a caravan of folks, a coalition of folks that have come together to say, certify the results. The voters have decided, and it's time for us to move forward.
And so we're here, we're waiting for the caravan to come, and of course the real anticipation is the 1 o'clock meeting. There is a 51-page report that went into the Board of Canvassers and tells them all the things that may have happened in this election and gives them the opportunity to tee up what it is that they're going to do. Remember that the Board of Canvassers is a 2-to-2 group, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. They're appointed, and then they go ahead and have their vote. Now, we've had the indication, at least preliminarily, that one of the Republicans will vote against this, but it wouldn't necessarily be a problem if there were 3 votes to move forward. If it's 2-to-2, then it goes on to the courts and it becomes infinitely more complicated. That's what they're certainly hoping doesn't happen and what they're protesting for here. So we'll be watching. We'll be on the 1 o'clock conference call. We'll certainly have more coverage coming up on Local 4 News at 5 and again at 6. Reporting live from Lansing, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Ron, thank you for the update. We know you'll stay on top of things. And as all that plays out, President-elect Joe Biden continues to prepare for his term. His transition team plans to officially announce its first cabinet appointments tomorrow, and the names of at least 3 expected cabinet appointments were released on Sunday night. The officials are Anthony Blinken for Secretary of State, Jake Sullivan as National Security Advisor, and Linda Thomas Greenfield as Ambassador to the United Nations. Right now, we want to get to breaking news. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration orders General Motors to recall and repair nearly 6 million pickup trucks and SUVs equipped with Takata airbag inflators, which can explode and spread metal fragments in the event of a crash. 27 people, including 18 in the U.S., have been killed and hundreds have been injured by the inflators worldwide. The agency's decision will cost the automaker about $1.2 billion. And there's good news today in the fight against COVID-19. Oxford University and drug maker AstraZeneca announced that their vaccine is coming out soon. And now, it might be a little less effective than the others, about 70% effective on average, but it's also less expensive and easier to distribute. And as Tom Costello reports, more vaccines are expected to come out soon. Some could be available to the public by the end of the month, next month.
This morning, Oxford University and AstraZeneca are announcing their vaccine candidate is 70% effective in protecting against the coronavirus. That's less than the vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna that have recently showed 95% protection. But the Oxford vaccine is much cheaper to make and can be stored easily, allowing for more widespread distribution. Oxford also notes the effectiveness of its vaccine jumped to 90% among volunteers given half a dose followed by a full dose.
We will have approaching 200 million doses of actives. So this is the drug substance by the end of 2020, and more than 700 million doses of active by the end of Q1 globally.
The news comes as the federal government is preparing to distribute tens of millions of vaccine doses nationwide. And now the head of Operation Warp Speed says we could see that starting in less than 3 weeks, as early as December 11th.
Within 24 hours from the approval, the vaccine will be moving and located in the areas where each state will have told us where they want the vaccine doses.
Pfizer is now the first drug company to formally seek emergency use for its vaccine, which shows a 95% efficacy against COVID during its trials. Now, an independent committee is poring through Pfizer's data to determine whether to recommend FDA approval. A meeting is already set for December 10th. Then the FDA makes its final say. As for who gets the first doses, likely those on the front lines like healthcare workers and individuals at higher risk. By the end of December, the goal would be to vaccinate 20 million people, with plans to add another 30 million per month after that.
Help is on the way. Effective vaccines have crushed epidemics. We can do that with the vaccines that are going to be coming online.
That was Tom Costello reporting. Thank you, Tom, for that. The news about the AstraZeneca vaccine provided a booster shot to the stock market today as we take a live look at tabulations of the Dow Jones Industrials average, which rose more than 100 points at the open. And the stock market's also showing optimism that retail sales will be stronger during the holiday season. In the meantime, millions are ignoring the holiday travel warning from the CDC. On Friday and Saturday, the Transportation Security Administration screened more than 2 million flyers. The numbers mark the second and third busiest days since mid-March. And this all comes as the United States passes 12,261,000 coronavirus cases, and more than 256,000 people have died from the virus. These are numbers from the Johns Hopkins University database. And then here at home, we are expecting new coronavirus case numbers, as well as information on school outbreaks this afternoon. On Saturday, Michigan reported 7,528 new cases with 101 deaths, and 59 of those came from a review of vital records. The state also reported more than 152,000 recoveries in total. Now, one of the hardest hit areas in the pandemic surge has also been El Paso, Texas, and one medical center there has called in the military for help. 3 Air Force medical teams joined the staff of the University Medical Center in El Paso, right near the Mexican border, where the intensive care unit has been over capacity for more than a month. Some of the military staff say that the ICU reminds them of a war zone.
A lot of the people I work with have described it similar to Afghanistan, Iraq. There's just a large amount of patients that we're taking care of, and a lot of critically sick patients.
The military unit members want to deflect attention from themselves. They say the regular hospital staff members are the real heroes in this pandemic. And with the nationwide surge in coronavirus cases expanding, a union representing registered nurses will be speaking out this afternoon about the challenges facing frontline medical workers. Nurses from Michigan are expected to speak at that event hosted by National Nurses United. Local 4 does plan to follow that event and report on what those nurses have to say a little bit later right here on our station. Well, we do want to keep you updated on the forecast on this Monday afternoon, coming off of a snowy day yesterday. Meteorologist Brandon Rue taking us through everything that we need to know for today and looking ahead to Thanksgiving.
Yes, we are on the cool side, but believe it or not, these numbers right where we should be, maybe even a degree or two warmer than average. which is like 45. And we're right there in the low middle 40s around Metro Detroit, 44, City Airport, 42, Mount Clemens, 42, Ann Arbor, and down in Monroe. But you factor in a little bit of a breeze that we'll be picking up, and it's middle 30s as far as wind chill or how it feels. Temps in the middle 40s, probably as good as it gets. With, again, the wind picking up, wind chills will likely be in the 30s most of the day. As we look at the sky conditions, almost looks like we're starting to get a break. And we could see a couple of breaks still this morning, but we're also tracking a little trouble. Evrod coming up. Details on tricky travel weather coming to Metro Detroit and something to be thankful for coming up.
Okay. All right, Brandon, we'll see you in just a few. Still to come, as we mentioned earlier, despite the looming threat of the coronavirus, millions are packing their bags and they're traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday. So after the break, we'll take a look at why so many people are doing that.